Hello, welcome back to Throwing It Down with Midi D. That's my name, and I am so excited for the football season. Today, we're going over running backs 11 through 20. You would think there'd be 10 running backs on this list. Heck no, there's 11. And last episode, I went over running backs 1 through 10, and that was fantastic. And I got some great comments, some sad people, and people that just needed to hear the truth. This is my list right now. It went through a tough time. It's hanging on by a thread. Unlike my mental state, it's gonna be held together. It's gotta be until I finish these rankings because you need them. You need them. I'm gonna start with number 11, Najee Harris. So Najee's kind of a fun running back for me. He's on a good team with an improving offensive line. His yards per rush stat is bad. 3.8 and 3.9 his first two seasons. And so his first season was with Big Ben and second with Kenny Pickett. His yards per carry stayed about the same from year to year. His rushes decreased. And what really hurt him last year was his receptions. Pittsburgh made a huge move in improving their offensive line this offseason. They replaced two positions on their offensive line in the draft and free agency, and that will help Najee Harris a lot. He did not have an offensive line his first two seasons. That's going to help him. He's going to get over 4 yards a carry. He's not a bad running back. He was behind a bad offensive line. The Steelers are working to improve that. That is why you're going to pick Najee Harris at number 11. We have a little sneaky guy here. Okay, I read a comment last video, and I did some research. Number 12 is going to be Breece Hall. Worried about his ACL tear. That's obviously a problem. It takes potentially over a year to fully recover from it, as we've seen from running backs every single year. I'm sorry, I'm just taking off my socks, getting comfy. I'm on my bed, chilling. Anyways, what I did not know of Breece Hall, so he played 7 games. He had 5.8 yards per carry. That's crazy. That's crazy good. That's MVP level good if he continued that for the whole season. If they use him like a workhorse, which they won't this year. But you know why I like Breece Hall as well? Their new quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, loves to throw to the running back. Look at Aaron Jones' catching stats the past couple of years. Awesome. Even A.J. Dillon, who's not a pass-catching back, had decent reception stats. Look at the backfield for the Green Bay Packers the last couple of seasons. That's one pro for Breece Hall. Another pro. He doesn't have Zach Wilson as his quarterback anymore. They're not focusing on the running back. They're going to be focusing on both running and passing now. He's going to have attention taken off of him, and he's going to be a killer when he's in. I'm concerned about the competition in his backfield. They have a rookie, Michael Carter, Xavier Knight. They have a lot of potential running backs who can take a couple carries away from him when he needs breaks. So they'll ease him into the season. He'll be a league winner by the end of the year if he stays healthy. Number 12, aka number 13. We're going to say number 12. Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard doesn't have Zeke anymore. His workload in the backfield will be huge this year. It'll be even bigger without Zeke. Tony Pollard was an amazing running back, pass catching and running last year. The Cowboys were supposed to be focusing on the run. They fired Kellen Moore as their offensive coordinator. He found a job in Los Angeles, which is a really fun place for him to go. But what I'm worried about is Tony Pollard's ankle. Similar to Breece Hall, huge upside. I think they're going to bring in another running back to help him carry the workload, whether it's Leonard Fournette or Zeke. They're going to, or another running back, I don't know. I don't have insider information. They're going to help him carry the bulk of the work, which was trending Tony Pollard's way until he got hurt at the end of last year. Number 13, your boy, Joe Mixon. Right now, he's the only running back. He's not a sexy pick, but he gets carries. He doesn't have Samaje Perine in the backfield, similar to Tony Pollard. That's kind of why I put him together, because even though Pollard is a much more explosive running back, but Pollard needs somebody to alleviate some of his rushes and catches because he can't do it all. He's not a full-time back. I don't have any statistics to back that up. That's just what I see when I watch him. Joe Mixon is a full-time back. He can take the hits. He has been generally non-injury prone, and without competition in his backfield currently, besides the rookie they just brought on, he's going to be the bell cow. He's going to be carrying the ball 20 times a game. He's going to be catching the ball out of the backfield 2 or 3 times a game. He'll be getting a ton of fantasy points this year, given that they have no other running backs on their roster that they pick up. Number 14, a super fun player, Travis Etienne. Do you know Travis Etienne played every single game last year? He was hurt for a couple of those games, still averaged over 5 yards a carry. And I like to focus on the yards per carry and the volume because that is what the running back does. Touchdown potential is huge, and for Breece Hall specifically, that touchdown potential is going to go way up. Having an offensive leader in Aaron Rodgers who can move the ball and has proven it for years. Looking back on Travis Etienne, he's a shifty player. Again, similarly to Breece Hall, Etienne has some competition. He has Dearness Johnson, another rookie, and JaMycal Hasty. Looking at the backups, Dearness Johnson, I think, has a ton of opportunity to take some workload off Travis Etienne so Travis can just focus on explosive plays, catching out of the backfield, being a great, well-rounded running back, while some of the hard-nosed running will be taken off his plate. And in the long run, it'll help. Or that's what I think. What do I know? Number 15, we're going to Dameon Pierce. This guy, forgot to look up statistics on him, carried the workload all last year. Winner of it's the Golden Trident. They gave it away at NFL Honors. It was the most impressive run. Juked 3 people and then trucked 3 people and then dragged 2 people into the end zone as he scored a touchdown. So this guy has it all. He has the skills, the strength. And Houston is bulking up their offensive line. They're improving their offense as a whole. Devin Singletary, the backfield, the players in this range, in my rankings, you're going to see a trend where they seem to have either injury concerns or backfield competition that's a little concerning because there's decent talent behind them, even though they're the complete top talent of that group. And I think Damian Harris with Devin Singletary back there, who's a speedy, fun guy. I like Devin Singletary personally as a running back. He averages about 5.5 yards per carry, but Damian Harris carried the workload last year, and you'll continue to see that because he's younger. He has more energy behind him, and they're going to use Singletary more sparingly. Number 16, another Penn Stater, Miles Sanders. You might look at Miles Sanders' stats and say, huh, Miles Sanders, he's not a good pass catching back. They might not use him much in the passing game. Wrong. With Jalen Hurts, yes, they use him less in the passing game. But Miles Sanders, 4 years ago in his rookie year, he caught 50 balls on 62 attempts. That's approximately an 82% catch rate. Just looking at Breece Hall's catch rate last year, 66%. Under 66%, actually. And Chuba Hubbard's, he's competition in the fact that he'll get touches. Miles Sanders averages 5 yards a carry. Chuba Hubbard is butt cheeks. He can't carry the ball. He was great in college. In the NFL, he doesn't have the stuff Miles Sanders does. Having, again, with the well-balanced offense, it's improving. Carolina's offensive line is one of the best in the league. I see Miles Sanders having a fantastic year, ton of opportunity, great offensive line, more use in the passing game than you think, and more efficient than you think. That's why he's one of my bigger sleepers of the year. I really am keyed in on Miles Sanders, Derrick Henry. Those are my big steals so far, and I will die on that hill. Number 17, Dalvin Cook. Not a lot to say about him on the Vikings right now with Alexander Mattison back in the wing. Alexander Madison's starting to have some get up. He wants to start being a part of the two-headed backfield with Cook. There's trade rumors with Dalvin Cook. The Vikings didn't do anything on their offensive line. Wasn't necessarily a problem, but Dalvin Cook lost it a little bit last year. He was injured. He didn't get surgery on his shoulder throughout the season so he could keep playing. He was going through a rough year last year, and he still played. He's a tough guy. I mean, he's still going to be a huge part of their Vikings offense if he is on the team. Alexander Mattison, fun backup, though. Be aware. My number 18 running back, it's Jahmyr Gibbs off the Detroit Lions. Taking over the DeAndre Swift plus some role, he will be awesome. Alabama running backs typically are good. We have Mark Ingram. We have Derrick Henry. We have Najee Harris. We have Damian Harris. Nobody talks about Trent Richardson. Don't believe he ever existed, but he was also a running back from there. The Lions' offensive line, top 3 in the league, up there with Cleveland and Philly. And we saw what Swift and Jamal Williams did last year. They had, don't know the exact stats, but I'm pretty sure they had 20-plus touchdowns. A fantastic offensive line to run behind. Just watching the Lions run the ball. With the loss of Jameson Williams in the first 6 games, Jared Goff might need some help in outlet passes. Throwing to Jahmyr Gibbs. Number 19, Brian Robinson. There's not a ton of good statistics to back up Brian Robinson besides he got a lot of volume when he actually played last year. So he only played 12 games, and he averaged 3.8 yards per carry, I believe. He didn't have a great year. Probably for his standards as well, but he got shot in the leg. He had to recover. Washington backfield wide open. The only competition is really Antonio Gibson. And let's be honest, Antonio Gibson, they hate him in Washington for some reason. So expect Brian Robinson to get a bulk of the workload. Washington's offensive line above average. The one knock you could say is we don't really know what's going to happen with the quarterback. And Their receivers are great. Their defense, even though their defensive line is looking fantastic, their secondary needs a lot of help, even though they just drafted a corner, so that should be better. There's a lot of promise in Washington, but there's also a lot of uncertainty. And that's really what you have to weigh when you're looking at Brian Robinson. He could have anywhere from 5 touchdowns to 15 because they love to run the ball in Washington, and he's going to have a lot of carries. The touchdowns are where I'm a little worried about Brian Robinson. The 11th running back, aka number 20 in the 11 to 20 range, is Damien Harris. You might be thinking, hey Mitch, didn't they start to use James Cook a lot at the end of last year? And you might be right. What you need to know about James Cook is he fumbles a little bit. He's got little butterfingers. And Damien Harris, coming from the Patriots, is established. He's on a prove-it deal for 1 year. He has insane professional rushing ability. He's a huge addition to Buffalo, who is going to be scoring touchdowns. Their team will allow them to be a top-scoring offense. Damien Harris will have more carries than James Cook by the end of the year. Not more catches, but more carries, especially by the goal line. It's going to be a resurgence for Damien Harris after they kicked him out of New England. That's it. Thank you for watching the video. If you have anything you want to say to me, could be about like the current economic situation or fashion, let me know. But if you want to talk about football, put it in the comments. I'm reading all the comments, even though there's like 2. Doesn't matter, I'm reading them, and I internalize what's being said, and I hope that comes out in my videos. And the Breece Hall comment in the last video really opened my eyes as I did more research into how good Breece Hall was as a player. I want to say thank you to everybody who watched. Subscribe, like the video. Peace.